everyone, this is editing Artie here. I need to be really quick, but I wanted to say this at the start of the video. My schedule is going to slow down to one video per fortnight because I'm getting really bombarded with work at uni. So thank you for your patience. I will still be posting, just not as often. Okay, bye. Happy hello to you friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Artie and I'm very excited for today's video because on my little schedule here it says that I get to just talk about world building. I don't know if this will do well, but I don't care because I get to talk about world building and that is awesome, so we're doing it. Before I get started, let me just tell you what I'm drawing today. I had so much fun making this one. I was designing a bunch of different plant species for my work in progress story, The Adventures of Moss. Okay, let's talk about world building. There are a few acronyms out there that help people start building a world. For example, GREATS. The G stands for geography, the R stands for religion, the A, achievements, P is for politics, E is for economics, and S is for social structure. Another more detailed example is hermetics. History, economy, religion, magic system, executive, which is government, like who is in charge or governs the world, topography, which is like biomes, environment, and climate, inhabitants, culture, and society. I kind of use these, but I also kind of don't. I honestly kind of just do my own thing because I've been world building literally my entire life. I just have like my own way of doing things. But yeah, let's talk about naming things. So many things in a world have names. The most obvious being the world itself, and towns and cities, etc. But then there are other things in that world, like, well, the currency is cold. What are the names of all of the plants that exist in this world? Some names tied to religion. If they have a god, what is their name? Are there other religious figures? What are their names? Naming things I find is very fun. I love researching meanings of different names and figuring out how I can use names to help deepen the lore of my world. When naming something, you need to first think about the roots of your world. And when I say this, I mean like, what culture is your world inspired by? Mine is based on Europe, with a small mix of other existing countries in there. I purposefully made my inspiration broad so I could have more freedom when it came to designing the world. If I picked specifically, say, the United Kingdom, I thought that when it came to designing animals and plants and other things, that I would be restricted because I could only make things similar to what exists in the UK. I just wanted a bit more freedom than that, so I picked all of Europe instead. Of course, this is still just a guide, and I am the world-building supreme leader / god. I can do what I damn well please. But it is still good to have an inspiration or a sort of source that you can look back to so everything in the world sort of lines up. Okay, so back to naming things. With this source in mind, I decided that the people of Iraeus, which is the name of my world, by the way, named things very literally. They added 2 or more words together to name something. For example, I have designed some fish. Specifically fish that are found off the coast of Iraeus and are often fished up by the fishermen and women in Blackmouth, one of the human towns. I'll put a drawing up on screen for you. I decided to name all of the fish after fish that actually exist in real life, but just added a little bit of spice. We've got a cod, yep, but it has these whisker-like noodle things on its face, so it was dubbed the whiskered cod. You've got the double-winged tuna, which is a tuna with big wing-like fins. The horned sea bass has 3 little bumps protruding from its head that look like horns, hence the name horned sea bass. I did a similar thing for naming the human towns and city. I wanted their names to be simple and made up of existing words, so I took some common word parts that have been used for the end of town names like Maya, Tide, and Stall, and added them to some nature-inspired words that I felt like fit the vibe. So now we have Dewstall, Bellmire, Grasstide, and Blackmouth. Names don't always need a whole meaning behind them, but it does help if they at least have a sort of theme, if they are all in the same place. And then if you're dealing with multiple countries or religions that would have different cultures... Did I just say that wrong? If you're dealing with multiple countries or religions that would have different cultures, they would name things differently. So think about how exactly they would be different, and also how they would interact with each other. Okay, moving on. Next, I want to talk about the environment. Things like biomes and climates. Is your land hot or cold? Once you pick that, is it dry or wet? Hot and dry would be desert-like. Hot and wet, or humid, would be more rainforest-like. Cold and dry would be snowy, and cold and wet would be rainy. So which one would you go with? Then what kind of geographical features does your land have? Rivers? Mountains? Lakes? Is there a nearby ocean? Is the land hilly and bumpy, or is it mostly flat? Pick a biome that your land is inspired by, or maybe make up a new one altogether. Just think carefully about it, because the type of biome and other things that I just mentioned will affect other aspects of your world building. Things like what kind of plants the land would have, and what kind of clothes would the people wear. I'm still working on the specifics of the environment for my world. It is going to be similar to that of Central to Northern Europe though, I know that part. It's mostly cold, but it will have its warmer months during the summer. I do think it will snow during the winter, but I just don't know what sort of intensity it would be. I still need to work on that. Okay, moving on to my final topic for this video, which is culture. There are so many aspects of building a culture, like a ridiculous amount of things. I found this iceberg graphic on Pinterest that I think is really helpful for this. I'll put it up on screen for you. Some things are very obvious and noticeable, which are at the top of the iceberg. Things like clothing, music, literature, food, among others. But then there are many other things that aren't always particularly obvious, which are under the surface of the water. Things like body language, values, aesthetics, manners, and so many more. And it gets even more complicated if you have multiple cultures to design, because then you have to think about how those cultures interact with each other. Do they get along, or is it common for fights to start between the two? I mean, it is lucky that I love world building because I've got 5 civilizations to design. More if you count the different human settlements individually. Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun with this. Being completely honest, I haven't gone extremely in depth with any of the cultures for my world just yet. I have a few things, like for the Hairfolk, for example, their values are all about being respectable and kind. They value family and believe that you don't need to be blood related to be family. In terms of activities and hobbies, they make pottery and work with clay a lot. When it comes to music, they play a small collection of different types of whistles/flutes. With the Badger folk, their go-to cultural hobby of choice is embroidery and sewing, and with music they play the lute. I'm thinking I'll design another type of small guitar for them too. All of the animal folk have their own version of singing. Also, something that I don't think I've mentioned on this channel yet is that the Harefolk and Badgerfolk actually interact with one another. Every 5 years they have a festival that lasts 3 days. It's called Union Fest, and it's held as a celebration of the two civilizations coming together in peace. They weren't exactly at war, but they weren't friendly to each other. The festival includes sharing of food, with a big feast on the middle day. They play music, sing and dance, and the children play games. It's a good time. The Wolffolk are more isolated. I know that they have a history with the Harefolk and that they are natural enemies, but I don't know yet what exactly happened, and why are they so far away from one another? I don't really know. I still have some world building to do, obviously. But the Wolffolk also sing, and that includes a particular type of singing that is similar to howling, like real wolves in real life. And they use percussion to make music. Not just drums, they use a couple of other things too, I just don't know what yet. Like I've said before, this world of mine is still in its early stages. There's still a lot of work to be done, but I am really looking forward to it. I think world building is just so beautiful. It really makes you appreciate the diversity and variety of everything that exists in the world. There's so much to look at, to design, and to explore. World building is almost like an art form. I mean, you certainly need practice to get better at it. Creating a whole world and everything that goes in it takes a lot of work, and even more work if you're going to make it both interesting and realistic. And I just find it so much fun. I can't explain it, but making up all of these little details about a world and the people that live there is just, I don't know, it's fun, I guess. I always have so much fun when I settle down for a world building session. Maybe it gives me a sense of control, in a comforting way, I mean, because life is wacky and it's hard to get through, and often things are out of your control. But world building, I can control that. I can make things how I dream them to be. It's also rewarding. After working on a world for so long, you look back on all that you have created and you see how far you've come. You get to look at a fully detailed world that you have created, and it honestly makes me feel almost emotional. It's just wonderful. Okay, that is pretty much everything. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had so much fun designing these plants and getting to just ramble about world building. It was sort of a guilty pleasure, this video. Let me know what you think of the plant designs. Do you like them or no? Is there one that's your favorite? I think the feather fern one is my favorite. I really like the colors. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And remember to subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out and it would help me keep making content like this. And also, if you liked this video, let me know by leaving a like. It helps me figure out what kind of content I should keep making for you guys. Okay, that is all from me for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. And I will see you all next time. Bye!